In the previous video, we saw how a data model with an object can be represented in reactive form using nested form group. Now let us consider this data model. This data represents a person's profile. The first property is the name of the person. Then we have a property named hobbies. The property hobbies is an array and it contains the top 3 hobbies of the person. In this video, we will see how this data model can be represented using reactive form. This entire data model can be mapped to a form group object. The name can be mapped to form control. The hobbies needs to be mapped to formArray class. The formArray class is part of reactive forms module to represent an array of elements. The 3 items in the hobbies form array can be represented as 3 separate form control objects. If a form group object is defined based on this, then this is how its form group object definition will look like. This is where the form array is defined. Notice that the form array is defined using square brackets to represent an array of elements. Now we will see how this data model will be represented in the HTML template. The form group object will be linked to a form tag using form group directive. The name form control object will be linked to an input text element using formControlName directive. The hobbies formArray object will be linked to a div tag using formArrayName directive. FormArrayName is a built-in directive available in the reactive forms module. The form controls within the form array should be defined within this div tag. Each input text element should have formControlName directive with value as respective index number starting from 0 to represent each item in the form array. Notice that formControlName directive is flexible here. Here the formControlName directive accepts a name. The same formControlName directive here accepts an index of form array. Let me show this example in Visual Studio Code. In the component class, the form group object is created here with formArray. This is the HTML template code that I have already walked through. The form data is printed in this line using pre-tag and using the value property of the form group object. In the browser, we can see the pre-tag printing the form data. We can see that the data is in the expected data model that we want with the array of hobbies. As I type data in the form, we can see the changes reflected in the form value. Let me summarize the key takeaways from this video. A form array object can be included within a form group object. A form array object can contain an array of form control objects. The form array object can be linked to an HTML tag in the HTML template using formArrayName directive. The form control objects of the form array has to be included within the formArrayName directive div tag. Each form control object of the form array can be linked using the formControlName directive with value as array index number. To implement this example, create a new Angular workspace, include reactive forms module in app.module.ts, include this form group definition in the component class, clear the generated code in app.component.html and replace it with this HTML template code. In the next video, I will demonstrate how validation on hobbies can be implemented in this page.